Hey guys, it's May and today we continue with HelloCraft, and I'm pretty sure this is video number 4. If not, I'll correct it in the title, but I think it's number 4. And I'm not actually going to use the book so much today. I am going to let it inspire me. See this little treat box right here? Let's get the glare off of it. That little treat box, I think it is super cute. And there is a template. If you have this book, there's a template in the back. Let me get to it and I'll show you. All of these little patterns and templates are back here. They're super cool. And this is the template for it down here at the bottom. Okay. And so if you have the book, you can certainly use the template. I did not want to use it today, but here's why. This reminded me of the milk carton crafts that you see all over the place. And I've never done one. And I really wanted to try it. So I thought that's kind of where I would lean today. So let's look at that. So what I did, because I wanted to use the milk carton, was I went out onto my software graphics, or to my graphic software I should say, and I created this milk carton template. Now I'm going to link my blog post below where you can get this template for free. That way if you don't have the book you can still follow along, but if you do have the book you can certainly make a copy of the one in the back and just enlarge it to the dimensions that it tells you to enlarge it to. And so this one is the one I created, so I'm going to work with that today. When you get to my blog, you'll see that there's just a button you click. It opens a PDF. You just print it out. And I want to show you what I did to print it. I went ahead and picked out the papers I wanted to use, and I cut them down to 8.5 by 11. Now, you may already have some Halloween themed papers that are 8.5 by 11, and you just put them in your printer and print them, or print this template on the back. I'm not worried about these lines because they're going to be on the inside anyway, so that's no big deal. And if you have a two-sided piece of paper and you don't want the lines to show up too bad, just remember you can adjust your printing to maybe do like a draft instead of best, and it'll print a little lighter. So that's what I did. I think this will make it easier as far as, you know, now I don't have to trace it. It's already on there, which I think is awesome. So now I'm going to cut these away, and I'm going to show you my plan. Ooh, that was loud. I'll show you my plan for cutting them out. Okay, so I have it printed on the back of my piece that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use this spider web piece. There's one thing I want to tell you that's really important, and I also learned this the hard way. If you're going to print these in your printer, make sure you turn the paper the right way. It's better if you use something like this that it doesn't have to be up or down, or even something with these kind of stripes so it doesn't matter which way it is. But if you have an image that needs to be up or down, you need to pay attention to that when you run it through your printer. Okay, so let's cut this guy out. Now you know that I like to do this as easy as possible. So here's my first cheat. I'm going to use my trimmer for every straight line I can possibly use it for. This one. This one. I'm going to get this little angled piece. If you can do it, you might as well. Especially if you're going to sit down and do a bunch of these for maybe a classroom or a Sunday school room, or if you're doing something for maybe just having it at your front door. Just cut those straight. And then I'm going to cut this guy. When you're cutting your template, remember to cut all the exterior lines. When I finish cutting, I'm going to lay this flat so you can look at it and see what it should look like when it's finished being cut. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors to finish off these parts I didn't get with my trimmer. So that's like this piece. And then in here, you're going to cut, because these are exterior lines, okay? You're going to cut a straight line here, straight line here, and then an angle on this side, angle on this side, like so. We'll do the same thing over here. And then here. Alright, and then the last little snip is going to be this guy and this guy. Alright, so this is what it should look like when you've cut all the pieces that should be cut. Notice that none of this gets cut. You don't need to cut these lines or anything. This is the top portion that stays together. The base is the only thing we cut. Now it's time to score. Now on this guy, I'm just going to lay him into the scoreboard, and I'm just going to line these little lines. Actually, it's probably better to do it this way. I'm going to line these lines up with any old notch. It does not matter. Like, I've got this line in this notch, and I'm going to score it. Okay. Line this one up in a notch and score it. Do the same thing with this one. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it and go ahead and score this one here. And then I'm going to score this one. And then, while I've got it here, I'm going to line this little notch up on the side here and go ahead and score it too. Alright, and then we need to do one other scoring. I have found that this works best here. I like to take my ruler, and on these little lines that are crooked here that just need to be scored, I'm going to take this score bone, or this bone folder, and just run down those little lines just like this by using my ruler. It's easier than trying to line it up for me on the scoreboard. If you can do it on the scoreboard, go ahead. As long as they're scored, it does not matter how you do it. But trust me, from experience, scoring these makes this fold so much easier. And I'm even going to score this dashed line. It just makes the process easier. Okay, we're ready to fold. Alright, for folding, I'm going to fold this little guy in. And the fold is so much easier once it's scored. It just kind of wants to do it. Right where we scored everything. And then I want to fold these inward. Just like that. Okay, you only need a couple of places of adhesive, not very much. But because this is a treat box and something we want to hold up for kids, I'm going to use a stronger adhesive. So I'm going to go to my sticky strip or sticky tape that I get from Punch Place Plus. I'm going to put that here. I have this adhesive linked below, but I also have a link on my blog that I keep permanently on there. It's actually on my website. I keep it on the website, so if you want to find this, you can always go to maymaymadeit.com and you'll be able to find this permanently if you're ever thinking, oh, I want to get some of that tape. Now, the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put sticky on one of them on the print side and on one of them on the outside, and you'll see why when we get to it. It probably already makes sense, but you'll see exactly why in a minute. Alright, now, the cool part about this little guy, it folds up so super easy. You're going to take your backer off, make sure this is sealed down nice and snug, fold this little guy in half to where that meets, and then seal it together. Okay? Then, when you lift it up, you get this shape. Isn't that awesome? Okay. Before you seal the bottom shut, go ahead and do your folds on the top. The reason I do this now, if I need to get in there and adjust anything, it's a lot easier than if I have to undo this. Trust me, I learned from my own mistake. So you look on the inside and you see that you push these two in, bring the top together, like so. Now see how this line did really good, but this line tucked in? If I had sealed this shut, I wouldn't be able to get my hand in here and help it out. So I'm going to reach in here and push that out and work that fold. Okay, so I've got that, got that, got that. Everything seems to be good. Just make sure everything's tucked and done like it should be. Alright, we will close this top part in just a minute. I'm not going to worry about that now. Now that I have it together and know I can fold it right, I'm going to go ahead and close the bottom. Now the reason I did two different places of the adhesive, you're going to take the shorter or the angled pieces and fold them in first. Okay? Then I'm going to peel this backer away from my adhesive and go ahead and fold it forward. Okay? And then I'm going to peel this backer off and pick it up. And using that, I'm going to kind of square it all up together and stick it in place. Then you can take a bone folder and stick it inside and just kind of run that around in there and just make sure that it's all sticking good. Alright, so it's ready for candy, but now let's decorate the front. Now for my matting purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the front and measure the length from the fold line here to the bottom and cut some mats to fit it. So this guy's cut, matted together, and ready to go. And I'm going to put it onto my milk carton. I'm going to fold this just a little bit so I can see my line. And line this guy up. And then, because it's still open, I can stick my hand in there and kind of burnish it down. Now what I'm going to do is work on closing the top. I have a piece of ribbon I want to run through it. So I'm going to poke 2 holes here so I can tie a ribbon in it. And I'm going to use the larger hole on my crocodile. So I'm going to punch one of them about here. And then come to this side. And punch this one kind of in the same place. If it doesn't make it exactly, it's not going to matter. Alright. Now you would have already filled it up with candy at this point. I do not have any candy. It's a little early for that. Now I'm going to trim. This is my trick. I trim my ribbon at a very sharp point and it kind of makes like a fake needle for me. See how that does? Then I close this and push that through. And then push this through the other side. Now this is where you decide what other embellishments you're going to do. I'm probably going to add a tag. But first I'm going to just tie this in a knot. Or just tie this one time and get ready for the tag. So let's make a little tag for it. This little stamp I'm going to use, it says Treats for My Sweet. And it's from my stamp set called Country Pumpkin. It's from this stamp set. And I do have that linked below as well. I have this little strip of white paper left over from, I don't know, something. It's from my scrap drawer. Here's some tuxedo black ink from Memento. I'm going to ink that little guy up. And then stamp it in one corner. This may be crooked, but I can't get my head in front of the camera, so I'm trying. Not too bad. Okay, so Treats for My Sweet. And now I'm going to turn this into a little tag to hang. So this little piece is kind of cut funny. I'm going to trim that up a little bit. Like so. Then just going to trim that down. And I'm going to cut an ear off here. You remember my trick. Put the ear back and make sure it fits. Then flip it over to this side so you know you get the same tag cut. So it doesn't have to be perfectly done. Because you know it's going to look very similar. And then just cut at that same little dog ear piece you just put there. Here we go. Let's poke a hole in this guy. And get a piece of baker's twine. So I have a little black and white baker's twine. I'm going to run that through the little tag, like so. And then, before I tie the bow in this, I'm going to run this baker's twine underneath that and pull it up. That way I can have that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and tie this bow. So I got the little bow tied. I'm still fidgeting with it. I fidget with them like crazy. Because for some reason I just think they have to be perfect. Now I'm going to trim this little edge back into a dovetail. Same over here. Got that done. And I still have my baker's twine sticking through. And my tag hanging on it. So now I'm just going to tie it there. And tie another little bow in the baker's twine. Trim some of this away. That's my, I don't even know. I guess that's my trimming voice. Okay, now, if depending on how you were going to give this away, you could put another little embellishment up here or something if you wanted to. But I think that's super cute. It's really not that time consuming. And if you sat down and did a whole bunch at one time, it'd be super cute to do that. So, again, the template is on my website. I will link that below. If you don't want to go to the link, it's just maymaymadeit.com. You can get the video tutorial. I will link it there as well as the template for this. Alright guys, that's HalloCraft number 4, loosely based on the Big Book of Holiday Crafts. And I will see you guys not Monday. I will be taking a break on Monday because it is a holiday. So I'm going to enjoy that holiday with my family. But I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.